Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us at Metaphysical Hippie Chicks 2.0. I am with my besties, Annalisa Bastiani and Terry Scalia. And today we are going to talk about how mediumship works, the inner experience of connecting with spirit. What happens after we die? Are our loved ones, spirit guides, and even animals still near? In this episode, we explore the inner experience of mediumship and what it truly feels like to connect with those who have crossed over. We talk openly about death and dying, how spirit communication unfolds, and how mediums receive messages from loved ones in the afterlife. We also discuss the presence of spirit guides and the ongoing connection we share with them, and how our beloved animals remain with us in spirit. How mediumship actually works. How do you know it works?
The only reason that I know it works in my experience is that people will confirm things that I've said.
That's what I was gonna say. Validation
It's the
from
only
people.
way. Because I thought I was nuts for a while there anyway. Like, I mean, it's not normal for people to say, "Hey, somebody got into bed with me last night." I felt. Who do you say that to? Especially, I was a teenager when that happened. So I'm like, who do you tell? By the way,
Mm.
somebody seemed to crawl into bed with me last night.
Yeah, I have
I
no
don't.
idea how it works. And personally, if anyone tells you exactly how it works, I don't think they really do know how it works. Because especially if you're born with it, and
Yeah.
everybody's born with abilities, intuition, instincts, we all have that. But if you're born with it, you know it because you've been having experiences all of your life. And I remember, oh, for the longest time, up until I was well into adulthood, all of the experiences that was having, first, I thought it was normal and everybody was having these experiences.
Mhm.
So I openly talked about stuff. And it was not until I was much older did I realize that I was I could talk back because back in the 70s when I was with Tom and Tom Masseri, my husband who channels Abram, and he's been channeling for over 53 years now.
Yeah.
And the first time he channeled in the class was extraordinary. And he was called a medium. Channels at
Mm.
the time were called mediums,
Mhm.
and everyone else, they were psychics. If they weren't a medium, they were a psychic. I had no idea because I thought I was a psychic and I was just getting psychic impressions and I was getting impressions of the people that had passed over, that it wasn't until I knew what mediumship had changed into. Somebody had come up with the name channel for the channels. And so it shifted from them being mediums to channels. And then all of a sudden, if you were communicating with the dead or anyone else without a body, that you were a medium. And so for so many years, I didn't know I could talk back. It sounds so silly and ridiculous, but I had to learn that I could talk back.
That's
Mm.
amazing. I don't think I knew that about your
Uh,
your
uh,
process.
yeah, it was crazy because I had gone out with a group of friends when I lived in Wisconsin, and we had gone out to some, I don't know, very well-known marshes, and that area was teeming with indigenous people before colonization.
Mhm.
And so we were going out to, the marsh, and we were walking out into the field, and I could see plainly in my head indigenous people, First Peoples, there as if that was their home. The teepee was there. There was a crowd of people, and there were three native men that came walking up to me, and I wish I had known that I could talk back to them, because I would have had a conversation with them.
That is
But
wild.
I was like, man, that's cool. I'm getting a psychic impression of the area. I'm getting a psychic impression of the energy of the area. And that's just the way it was, because I was stuck in that label. I was stuck that, no, I'm not a medium, which meant a channel. I'm a psychic.
Hmm.
And
It's
lo and
interesting
behold,
because what you just described, seeing it within your mind's eye, um, we all have imagination, and that's how they work. I mean, that's at least how I understand it, that they use our imagination to get us to see these things and to say these things to our clients. For my whole life, I would have these movies running in my head, thinking I just randomly decided to have this weird movie run in my head, not knowing that those were probably hits that I should have been kind of
mm-hmm,
writing down or saying, or I mean, it would have proved if I had looked into, say, the history of that place that you were talking about, that I would have understood, oh, that's why I was having a vision of Native Americans. I mean,
yeah,
so many things like that happened as a kid that I just again wrote off, like you said.
uh-huh, uh-huh. So let's talk about the difference between psychics and mediums, because I've always told people that all mediums are psychic,
Hmm.
but not all psychics are mediums.
Mm-hmm.
I've said the same thing.
So we can agree on that.
Yeah, I think that mediumship is, I don't know if you, obviously, if you have the ability, you can choose or not choose to use it, but more than often than not, if you have that ability, people choose to develop it, in my small experience.
Well, I'm still
Um,
a little bit confused between the two. I don't really fully understand the difference between. I mean, do they even use the word psychic anymore?
yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard it.
yeah.
So what just give us a brief difference, Susanna, about the difference between the two.
Okay, just on my experience and
Mm-hmm.
doing readings for people, is that I start off with mediumship, and then towards the end, I will answer any type of questions that they have. If it pertains to whatever information has already come through, then that person or another person will come through with more information. But if they're asking about something that's going on with work, uh, no, I don't make predictions at all. And I don't, if you're going to ask questions about when is my perfect man going to come or my perfect woman, that's off the table. I
Mm-hmm.
don't answer questions like that. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about the stock market or your money situation, I may get information about anything that might pertain to that, but not directly. And so that's kind of off the table also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's when I get a feeling. For me, it happens when I get a feeling and maybe I get an impression in my mind about what's going on. I'm remembering a person, one of my past clients, and after the reading and after people had come through for him, he was asking me about work, and I said, and some kind of promotion, and I told him, well, there's two women in the office. There's one that is doesn't have his back, and you need to watch out for her. So over the period of another 2 years, he had come back and he said, you were absolutely right. She tried to sabotage me and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's doing psychic stuff is not making predictions, but getting a feeling, a sense for something with a direct question.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. That's funny.
Okay.
So
Um,
in mediumship, sorry,
no, go ahead.
in mediumship, I move completely out of the way. And it took me a long time to learn how to do that. It took me a good 8, 9 years to really move myself out of the way and make sure that I was a clear channel for information to come through. And that takes a lot of work. And that for me, anyone who's interested in doing mediumship, that's the very first thing. There's two major things that need to be dealt with up front. And one is fear. The first one is fear. And the second one is getting yourself out of the way. So you have no influence in the information that's coming through. Because if you haven't taken care of your own crap in
Mhm.
life,
Mhm.
and you have some strong beliefs and judgments, and you haven't learned how to get out of the way, that's going to creep
Mhm.
into the reading.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you say get out of the way, are you saying much like Tom does, where he consciously gets out of the way? Or is it more you're just very knowledgeable of what's yours and what's not yours to separate?
No, it's actually because I do a visualization of I started out the visualization of me sitting next to me in a chair,
Ooh,
that removed. I'm removed from the information.
got it.
Tom go basically he says he goes to sleep, so he sometimes calls himself a sleep medium.
Mhm.
He doesn't remember everything
Mhm.
afterwards, and it took him a long time to get out of the way,
Mhm.
and it's not only mentally, it's um emotionally,
Mhm.
and it just takes a lot of practice. You just have to practice, and it's like quieting myself so I can hear them. And so at certain points during a reading, if I feel the need to, I will mentally, I will ground myself, and I'll think of myself doing this and listening with this ear.
Mhm.
It's just symbolic for me
Sure.
to do that, but it helps me. And it's like, those, what do they call it? Not those old megaphones, those,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the,
Hey, Sonny.
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah. And it's like that. It's like putting that in my ear and having this cone go out to receive, to listen, and to listen to what spirit is saying, the person in spirit is saying, without me thinking about it. And that also is what happens when I conscious channel, is that I have to move away, and that person in spirit, whether it's a guide or a loved one, extraterrestrial or whomever, comes through and speaks. It's like speaking directly to the person, where I don't have to interpret. I don't do any interpretation.
Right.
The messages come straight from them through me to the person receiving the reading.
And how did you find the difference in that? How did you develop from mediumship to conscious channel?
It wasn't, I didn't do it consciously. It just
Mm,
started happening.
okay.
And I get this feeling that they want to speak directly to the client. And so sometimes I feel like my jaw wants to move, that I want to speak, but not
Yeah.
my words. And so that's kind of an indication to me that it's going to happen, that they're ready for it.
Cool.
The other
I
indication, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
the other indication is when I'm doing a reading, the only thing I ask is that if you're coming in from, if you're on mother's side, you come in on my right hand side. If
Yeah.
you're on father's side, you come in on my left side. If it's a guide for them, I see the guide coming either straight toward me or at an angle. And if I have a guide with me, one of my guides, I can feel them standing directly behind me, like this far from my back.
Mm.
And so those are the only indications. I have certain symbols that I have, but they're not tried and true
Mhm.
because what I do, and I don't know if other mediums work like this or not, because I know a lot of them, they have certain symbols and signs and so forth. I allow the people in spirit to give me whatever they feel that the person that I'm doing a reading for needs. And so a lot of times I get very different symbols. And before a reading, I'll tell them, I go through this little monologue and say that, I'm here for, so and so whomever's getting the reading. I'm here for this person. Please, let's see, what do I say? Please come through clearly and concisely and give me symbols that I will understand, that I don't have to take time to try and figure out. And that would help me a great deal. That you need to come in with honesty and integrity, because I've had one experience, and this isn't bad, after almost 24, 25 years of doing readings professionally, is that this person was not a very good person in life. And that's how he came through to me. Now, sometimes when they come through and they're not a very nice person, they'll show that part of themselves, and then that will disappear, just so the person that I'm doing the reading for recognizes them.
Exactly.
But that didn't happen with this one. He tried to mess with me.
Oh.
And
Well, he wasn't fully crossed over then.
Or he was hanging on to his personality
Yeah.
for way too long. And so I asked, please come through with honesty and integrity, and give me messages that this person needs to hear in their lifetime at this particular moment. And if you feel the need to speak directly to this person, then you may conscious channel through me and speak directly to them. It would be good for me, it would be good for you, and it would be good for my client. And then I say, let's have a good time.
You have to be very,
That's
very
cool.
very trusting to do something like this. Right? I mean,
the channel part, yeah.
Because you don't, I mean, there are different realms, right? And somebody who's not a nice person here could continue to be not that nice of a person, and they're on a lower realm, say. And if you're in contact with them, I mean, can't they, like you said, mess with you? And I mean, they can't hurt you, right? They can't hurt you.
No.
But they can kind of mess with your head a little bit, couldn't they?
Well, everybody works differently. I don't think of things as being realms. I think of things as a person's experience and where they are with their own experience. And a lot of times when people cross over, they hang on to their personality that they've had here in life, until they're ready to drop that. And for each individual, it's different. And so if they come through like that, and I figure out that they're not being honest and they're not giving honest information, that's it, cut them off. Goodbye.
That's really interesting, and that could be a whole topic in itself.
Yeah.
The whole when you pass over, where exactly are you? Is everyone in the same place? Does depending on who you were or what you choose to hang on to, do you go to are you still able to intermingle with the people who are, you know, I don't know, I don't even know how to put it, because if it's not a realm, like a different level,
Vibration.
yeah,
Stages,
different
vibration.
vibration. There you
Yeah.
go. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Different vibration.
Yeah.
The speed of the
Vibration.
vibration. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I find that it's interesting when I was doing this, and again, it's just the way I perceive it, doesn't mean that's how it is, but it's how my brain holds on to it. It is sort of like realms for me. Um, I can feel someone whose vibration is denser, and
Mm-hmm.
to me that means they haven't fully crossed over, whatever that means. They're staying within the human dimension of emotions. They haven't let go of the anger or the negative side of things. Or they'll do what she said, which is I'm going to portray that for a minute so that the client knows who I'm talking up to, and then it'll go away.
Mhm.
And to me, that
Yeah.
means they have crossed over. They're just showing me what they used to be like, and that vibration still feels higher than the lower vibration of someone who hasn't crossed.
Yeah. That's happened to me before too.
Yeah. It was like, and this doesn't, I mean, that was the first time in almost 24, 25
That's
years.
amazing. That's fantastic.
It,
That means you're
Mm-hmm.
protected. However, you protect yourself, or just your knowingness to feel.
yeah, that's another whole topic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't do anything like put myself in a bubble, white light,
Yeah.
and all of that, because for me, that's working from fear.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
I think it's based on your own level of fear of doing this,
Hmm.
that it depends a lot on your own self-esteem and your self-worth and your belief in negative spirits, demons, and so forth.
Right.
I don't put up with
Me either.
crap coming from somebody
Hmm.
who's coming through for somebody. If
Not
they're
Mm-hmm.
going to give
happening.
me crap, then you can leave.
Yeah.
You're gone. It's just that way.
Yeah.
But I have a trust. I have a trust in myself. I have a trust in my abilities, and I have a trust for people that are coming through. There was, and I think I've mentioned this on another episode somewhere, is that I was doing a reading for someone, and I'll tell you after the show who the reading was for.
Ooh, tea.
Um, and he came through. Now, sometimes they come through the day before, or I
Hmm.
see them or feel them maybe a few days before. And this one, the day before the reading, had put me through a roller coaster of emotions. Now, one of the reasons why I can do mediumship is that I'm very emotional. I'm a very emotional person, and my readings are based on emotions and connections with people and in spirit, and with people that I do readings for. And so he came through, and I could feel somebody in the house, but it was like he was there, but not there. And then at times it felt like the whole house was filled with his energy. And I just was like, there were times during the day I just felt so melancholy and I was
Mm.
crying and I was like, what the hell? And then I'd be on an upswing and it was it was nuts to me, on this emotional roller coaster ride. And I was in bed that night and I like to watch TV for about an hour before I go to sleep. And I could feel him and I said, "Look, I'm tired of this shit. Who are you?" And clear as day, like somebody was standing next to me, talking to me, clear as day. He said, "Cut yourself. You'll feel better."
I remember you saying that before.
I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
holy crap.
Oh my
This is what
God.
it's all. This guy was bipolar,
Yeah.
and and I don't mean any offense by saying this, but what we refer to as a cutter.
Yeah. Self-harm.
Yep. And so somebody might say, why put yourself through that? That's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
not
just
100% of the time.
no, no. And that goes into a whole nother realm of understanding energy
Mm-hmm.
and doing this kind of work. And it takes practice and it takes experience to understand energy and welcome it and not be afraid of it and investigate it,
And I don't think I
figure
ever
out what
stopped
it
learning
is.
about it.
So anyway, what kind of experiences have you had, Annalisa?
Um, I was on a phone line for a while because I wanted to be able to do readings really concisely and quickly. And I thought this is a way to practice, just, being on one of those phone lines and see what that was like. I did it for 5 years and it was very educational. Not something I'd do again, but the company was pretty reliable in terms of I thought they auditioned you, like you couldn't get this job unless you actually gave a reading to somebody in the company and they decided whether they liked you or not. So I was kind of happy with that when I decided to start it. I had this one call where this woman was asking about her husband and she didn't give me any information and I was like, I feel like a blunt ending, like it happened bang. And I was really green, so I was hesitant to say that I felt like it was a gunshot. I was hesitant to say what I was really seeing and feeling. So I was like, I feel like he died from a very blunt, either hitting or something. Um, and she's like, yes. And again, not giving me anything. I said, okay. Um, I said, I'm just gonna say it. Did he end his own life? And she said, yes. I said, okay, so now I can tell her I feel like it was a gun. And she said, yes. And I said, my God, were you there? Was there a child there? And she's like, yes, yes. And I went, so then I see this like triangle of he and his wife and his son standing in front of him. And he's actually pointing the gun at you guys. And then all this information came out. And she's saying yes to everything. And I said, did he point it at your son and then stop? And she said, yes. And I said, okay. In that moment, he snapped out of whatever craziness he was going through and realized he was about to kill his family and turned the gun on himself. And that's why he killed himself,
Wow.
because he was saving you. And she burst into tears, said, that's exactly what I was going to ask. That's exactly what I was calling for. And I started crying. She started crying. I mean, it was an amazing, and I talk about this, out of all the readings that I had on that phone line, that's the one that really stuck with me because you see one situation, like a crazy person trying to kill their family, and then you realize why they killed themselves was to protect that family. I mean, all the stuff that he must have been going through, fighting whatever demons he had, and then to wake up, his son was the reason he woke up. And she wanted to be able to tell the son a little bit more about what was going on in his father's
Can I
mind.
interrupt you because
Sure.
I've got him coming through.
Fantastic. Hello, sir. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's intense.
The he's coming through with so much emotion, and he wants to thank you so much for doing that for his wife and his son. Because if you had not given her that information, and he actually engineered her call to you and you receiving that call. He was
I felt that.
partly getting the two of you together because he's telling me he knew that you were the right person and that he knew that she was going to be calling. And he's saying that no other medium or psychic on that line would have been right for
Oh,
her
God, thank you.
because your energy and her energy were very close together. And so there was a connection that you made, and it was almost immediate when you started talking to her that that connection was there. You felt it, she felt it. She
Mhm.
felt comfortable with you. And if it had not been you, it may have been a totally different message. He's also saying you were one of the best psychics on that line, and that if she had not received the information that you gave his wife, she could have spent the rest of her life wondering. And what you did for her was to give her an understanding that she could live with and that she could still, and he's saying, and she could still love me.
Oh, and she did for sure. Ooh.
And so he's thanking you, like, oh, his whole soul is in this for you, and that he will never forget you.
I will never forget them at all. It's been years since that, and I remember it like it was yesterday.
And he's been waiting too.
Oh,
He's been waiting for old the best set of circumstances to be able to tell you this.
I so appreciate that. Thank you.
And he's coming through with so much emotion.
Oh, this is
Who knew this was gonna
And where's
have?
my crying towel?
I know. Oh my God. Oh, thank you so much. I use it as an example all the time. He's always kind of in my, in my thoughts when I do readings and tell people certain situations that have happened. It's one of the first ones that comes to mind because it was so cathartic and so profound for all of us.
Oh man.
And I was so green on that channel. Like here I am talking about somebody's suicide. Like how do I do this? And I wasn't sure I was even correct. But you're right, the connection with her was so immediate and so bang on that I was like, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. And that's
And and that's the thing. There's been so many times when I've gotten information and it was like, do I really say
yeah,
this?
yeah.
And or
You-
I'll start to I'll be seeing that it was a suicide and I won't say it. I'll try and dance around it, but then she says, "Yeah, he killed himself."
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I already know that. You're struggling, and they're like, okay, come on, say it.
it's sometimes the information is very direct
Yeah.
and can be, I don't want to say harsh, but
Direct is
it's just very
definitely.
direct and you don't know exactly how it's going to land.
And it's been a lesson in not to over sweeten it too, like not to try and
Exactly.
hide it
Exactly.
because I'm
Not
a people
sugarcoat it.
pleaser. I want exactly sugarcoat. I'm a people pleaser. I want you to be, having a positive experience, but sometimes the experience is meant to be a
Hmm.
little more difficult so they can move through it.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's me, sorry.
So,
Well, thank you, Susanna,
uh,
and thank you, sir. Oh my God.
yeah, I thank the gentleman very much because
Mm,
uh, I needed that too.
wow.
I needed that too.
Here's why I am hesitant to go down this road is because when you guys were talking about this, I'm feeling his pain like
Yeah.
very intensely. I am feeling his trauma and his oh my God. It is so intense and it's hard for me to shake it off.
Mhm.
Like I feel it down to my core. And
That's
it's,
sorry.
That's what
I
she was
mean,
going through. Yeah.
yeah, it is so intense.
I've noticed that when I get those people, I'm allowed to feel only a certain amount of it. And I feel like there is either someone or a guide or somebody that cuts it off. Because I can feel it, but it won't get to the point where I can't shake it off. And maybe that's part of what I'm supposed to do is bring those kind of situations to people because I can feel it but not lose myself in it.
That's like using this as the perfect example. Me crying is feeling that intensity,
Hmm.
Terry.
Okay.
But I have a just because of my own personal makeup, my emotional makeup, and how deeply I feel things, I have a large capacity for uh, handling that kind of
Hmm.
intensity. And it only gets to a point of me being able to convey to the person receiving the reading the intensity of it. Because sometimes I feel like I get more out of the reading than the person receiving it because I'm here feeling
Yep,
everything.
exactly.
And so when I allow that kind of intensity to come in, it's okay for me.
Hmm.
And it doesn't get to the point of me losing myself. And it conveys to the person how deeply the person is feeling and how intense that feeling is. And so it's not only honoring their feelings, it's also honoring for me the calling a client is sounds cold,
And
but
I know.
the person receiving the reading, that they get as much out of the reading that they possibly can. And yeah, it was very intense, Terry.
It's hard for me to shake that off, you know.
It is.
when I, when I it seems like I can feel people's suffering and their torture and their trauma
Mhm.
way more intensely than their love and their compassion and all of that. If there was some kind of torturous trauma stuff going on with them, that's what I feel, and I
Mm.
just feel it so intensely, like almost like it's mine, like it's like I'm them and I can
Mhm.
actually feel what they felt. Like when you were talking about when you were Annalisa, when you were talking about how he was going through the whole process of pointing the gun at the child and at his wife, I could feel what like I could feel him, like I
Mm.
could feel what he was feeling at the moment that
Mm,
he was doing that, and that
yeah.
was whoa. That was just overwhelming.
I remember going through it at the time, and again, I couldn't be overwhelmed because I needed to convey, but I did tap into why he was doing what he was doing, which came with all the pain, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and it's that despair that made me
Despair.
understand why it happened, why it went down the way it went down, and then the sudden waking up of I can't do this. And it was remarkable. It was absolutely one of the most remarkable readings I've ever had, and it was on a phone line that you don't expect to have, deep readings on.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys. That's mediumship. Any
Right.
questions?
So how do you think people can that don't have a lot of experience, how they can tell between their imagination and what's really coming through, what's really real?
I'm still figuring that.
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's a really good question.
Uh, like we said before, write stuff down. I think that confirmation is going to be your best way of knowing the difference. It may not be immediate though, because sometimes you'll get a feeling and you won't be able to get a confirmation. But writing it down, I think, helps you see a list of the times how much it happens to you. I was just driving with a friend and we were driving down a freeway, and all of a sudden I got the most horrible hit passing by this little tiny neighborhood. The most horrible hit of the sun is shining and it's a beautiful day out there. Why can't you be happy? I mean, it was some feeling of somebody feeling so depressed, and the juxtaposition of it being so bright and sunny and beautiful and everyone else going about their day, but me not being able to feel that and feeling completely like I I just want to I just not want to be here anymore. And I have no way of confirming that, but that was like a hit that happened just driving.
You know what I'm
I
picking up on that is that what kind of neighborhood was it, or do you know?
It was right
Because
off the side of a freeway, and it was kind of like a Section 8, I think. Kind
it
of such a.
because what I'm
that's what I
getting
that's
is
what
that
I
there was
think.
a lot of tragedy
Yeah,
in that neighborhood, and there's a lot of energy around that, and there's like a group of people or a neighborhood or something like that that had especially had a lot of trauma,
that's exactly
um,
how I felt when I passed
Yeah.
by.
gun violence,
Hmm.
That's exactly what I felt.
and there was a lot of grief.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And that's an energy that has built up and is extremely strong. And so people like you, people who are sensitive, and people like Terry and myself may pass through that and feel that and pick
Hmm.
up on that grief and that tragedy. But I definitely get that it's a very poor neighborhood, a lot of
Hmm.
economic stress
Hmm.
and gun violence and other robbery, all kinds of that kind of stuff going
Yeah.
on
That's
there.
exactly what I saw, exactly what I felt.
And do you see
Um,
how strong that was? I mean, all
Yeah.
I did
yeah,
was pass by it on a freeway. I have
yeah,
no idea where specifically that was. I mean, I could tell you roundabout. It was like, up by Vallejo areas because I was at the Solano County Fairgrounds. But it was like, what in the heck? And this movie played out like that. But I mean, me telling it was longer than me seeing it. You know what I mean? It was like, bam, this is what
Right.
I'm feeling and seeing.
Right.
But to
Let-
describe it is like longer.
so let me share a story, a really quick story too. Something very similar had happened to me once, and I was a passenger in the car, and I was sitting up in the front in the passenger side, and we were going down the freeway. This was in California, and we're on the far left lane. Oh, why is my hand? Oh, because I went like this.
I wondered that too. I'm like, what's going
Wow.
Did you have a bunch of hands come up and wave?
Yeah,
on?
I had the hand come up. So anyway, so we were in the fast lane, and we were approaching a car. We were going to be passing a car that was up a little bit, and I'm looking out the window, and I start getting this overwhelming sense of absolute terror. Like, so much fear overcame me. And there was a car right in the next lane that we were getting ready to pass. And I started yelling, "Don't pass, don't pass, don't pass that car, don't pass that car, don't pass that car, don't pass that car." My mother was driving, and she's looking at me like, "You're what the hell?" And she just ignored me, whatever. And we started passing the car, and I'm looking as we're coming close to the car. I'm looking, and this man in the back seat that was sitting on my side of the car, so we were facing each other. He looks at me, in this evil look came out of his face, and it just went right through me. It was the most evil, terrifying feeling I had ever felt. I don't know if I've ever felt anything terrifying like that before. It was just like this, like he was just the devil himself was sitting in the back seat of that car. It scared the living crap out of me. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. And he just had this blank stare on his face and this eyes that were piercing. And he just watched me as we drove by. Oh, it was just thinking about it right now. It's just making me cringe.
Sounds like that movie where the family in a station wagon pick up a hitchhiker.
Oh,
and he's a serial killer.
Never ever do that.
No, I don't remember that. I don't think
I never watched it. I didn't want to see it.
I've been saved by, I feel like angels, God, somebody saved me. I was followed off of a bus once, and I could feel it. As soon as it happened, I just felt this energy, and I'm like, oh crap. And I walked a certain way, and then he followed me. And then I walked back another way, and he followed me. And I'm like, this is not good. And so I walked into the corner store thinking that he would go away. And I walk back out, and he's still there. And now he's like just positioned staring at me. Same dead shark eyes. And I'm like, what do I do? So in my head, I'm visualizing that I have, I don't even know why I did this. It just came to me where I'm holding a leash of multiple big black dogs, just barking, barking, barking dogs that surround me to protect me. The light in the store goes out. They close. They pull everything down. It's closed. Now I'm completely alone on this street corner, and he's staring at me. And I'm like, the only thing I can do is just run into the middle of the street and see if I can catch a cab. I didn't even see a cab, but I went running to the middle of the street. Cab shows up. I hail it. I grab myself. I mean, I just like throw myself into this cab. And at the door, he's at the door. He's at the cab door trying to pull the door away from me. And the cab driver speeds off. He's like, what was that? What was he doing? I'm like, I don't know, but I think you just saved my life. The way it happened is impossible to me. Like, the fact that I ran into the middle of the street, got a cab, didn't have to look for one, got one, and got in that car before he grabbed the door. To me, somebody saved me.
Yeah.
Who, other than that cab driver.
You remember the reading that you and I did, and that your brother came through, the brother that you've
Brother that I'm not supposed to have, but have always, at every single reading I've had, my brother comes through.
Yeah.
I don't have a brother in this life,
Yeah.
but apparently I did.
Yeah.
And so my family joke is that I ate my twin because they thought we were twins at first.
Yeah.
I think that was him.
He was a brother in another life, which he brought through information about that life. And it was a life of being gypsies.
Yeah.
And when he came through, he showed me the area that you were in. It was like watching a movie.
That's crazy cool.
And I saw the streets, the darkness and nobody there, and the alleys, the empty alleys, the dark empty alleys. And he was the one that was instrumental in getting that cab to you.
Yep. I remember you saying that. It had to be. The way it worked out was incredible. and I'm eternally grateful.
That was one of the, and the reading was much longer, and there was I think a lot more
Yeah.
information, but that
Yeah.
was one of the readings that I have done that I will never forget.
Wow.
That it was so strong and it was so clear.
Hmm.
And when he comes through very clearly and very strong.
And I love that. I love getting to know him that way because um, it is something that's happened not my whole life necessarily, but anytime I've gotten a reading, since I started getting readings either from friends while I was studying or before when I was trying to figure out what I was doing with this, um, he always comes through. And I have to laugh because I have to say, I acknowledge him as my brother, but I got to be honest, I'm an only child. I couldn't know what to do with that.
It's amazing to me that we have so many people in spirit that are around us,
Always.
that are helping us,
Hmm.
and what I've learned is that they cannot interfere in our own experiences, but there are times when they can insert their energy into a certain situation.
Yep.
And I think it's probably a very delicate decision or circumstance when they can do that, because 99 and 9/10 of the time they cannot interfere.
Right. I've always gotten that message too.
Yeah,
We're here for the experiences. We can't be saved from
right,
all of them.
right. So many people label themselves by one of the 8 clairs, like clairsentient, clairaudient,
Clairvoyant,
clairvoyant. Do you want to go through the 8 really quickly,
Sure.
just
Sure.
so people might understand what they are if they've never heard of them, which I kind of doubt, but we'll go through them really
There's a
quickly
lot of
anyway.
these I haven't heard of.
Clairvoyance, which is clear seeing, clairaudience, clear hearing, clairsentience, clear feeling, clear empathy, claircognizance. Pronounce that for
Cognizance.
me. Thank you.
Claircognizance.
Clear knowing, clairalience,
No idea how to
clear
say that, but that's
smelling,
how I say it. Yeah.
clear gustance,
Gustus.
clear, what is it? Clear
Gustance.
gustance,
Clairgustance.
clear tasting, and clear eight. I don't know. It's psychometry.
Clairtangency.
Tangency, yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. Clear touching. All right. So the clairs that we had back in the 70s, it's expanded greatly because
Yeah.
of
I didn't have
the
8 of
New
them.
Agers.
We need more
But
labels.
yeah, and I try, along with my readings, I see myself also as an educator. Um, and people can take what I say or leave it. It's okay. Everybody needs to make their own decisions about themselves. But in my opinion, I don't use any of these clairs because, one, it's a label, and two, if you're a very good medium, you can do all of it. That all of that filters in doing a reading for someone.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I mean, if I use them, it's only to say that this is a stronger one than this one.
mhm,
Like my clairvoyance and my clairsentience is stronger than my, clairalience.
yeah,
That kind of thing.
yeah. Well, I make it very clear to people, I don't get names and I don't get dates.
Yeah, I have to do that too because everyone on TV is able to get names like right off the bat, and I'm like, I'm
I
sorry, that's not
know.
how I do that.
No.
Doesn't work for me.
And I don't do missing persons. That's
I
not,
want to do that. I
I
would
would
love it,
love to do that.
but I'm not, saying people I do that because I don't have
Mm-mm.
I
That's
don't have a
not,
track record for
yeah,
that.
that's not my strength. I just, so I stay away from that if I can.
I have to tell people that if you want future readings, I can try. But you have to know that the future changes on a dime. I don't call myself a future reader for that reason because things change so quickly. I can tell you what I feel and see today, but don't hold on to it.
Yeah, you're just
And
seeing possibilities.
exactly.
Mhm.
And I'll same with health. I can sort of tell you something health wise if you really want me to, but I will never be a replacement for your doctor. Do
Hmm.
not ever
Hmm.
take what I say over what your doctor says, or I won't do a health reading at all for people.
I give that disclaimer before reading also. But sometimes I get a very strong sense if they're dehydrated,
Ditto. Me too. That kind of stuff.
if
Yeah.
they're lacking certain vitamins,
Oh, you're good with that. I haven't gotten that kind of stuff.
and what kind, especially with vegetables, if they should be eating the greener vegetables or the lighter color vegetables, I'll get that. But it all depends on the person. It's not like I can conjure it up real,
Yeah,
momentarily. It has to be coming through. It has to be
exactly.
important.
And it's different for me in terms of mediumship. Mediumship has a different feel for me than doing a tarot reading, which is how I do my psychic stuff. Um, Tarot cards are kind of grounding for me, so I don't go
Yeah,
all over the place.
yeah. And doing the cards, doing a reading with stones or
Hmm.
crystals or
Runes,
Tea
anything
leaves.
like that is, huh?
tea leaves. Yeah,
Tea leaves.
Yeah, is a focal point.
that's all it is.
It's just a way of being able to focus your attention and your
Hmm.
energy. And how about Ouija boards and the negative things about Ouija boards?
I played with them for ages and had shit happen all the time that was like not good.
Yeah,
And
I think they're dangerous in the
well,
wrong hands. In the wrong
they're
hands, they're
oh,
dangerous.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm not
Yeah.
advocating for them at
Yeah.
all, but
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of it seems to be psychological. I'm
Mm,
not going to say a lot of it is not psychological because I think when you're playing with people, their psychology comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think real stuff can come through it? Absolutely.
mhm.
And real negative stuff can come through it because you're only reaching a certain level, a certain vibration, like how we talked about
Mm-hmm.
vibration being denser versus higher or faster. The denser vibration, in my experience, is still in the human realm of negativity.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about people's expectations, their beliefs, and the reputation that a Ouija board has?
All in
Because
play.
uh, because a lot of people believe in negative spirits and demons.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The Ouija board has a reputation of being negative and drawing in evil spirits. So there's that factor. And you get inexperienced people who don't understand what they're getting and that they're
Hmm.
opening the door to something maybe based on their beliefs about dangerous things in the universe,
Right.
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
spirit. That
I
all
tell
comes into play.
it absolutely does. And I tell people when you play, if you're in, let's say you are in your home is safe, but the outside, maybe you don't live in the best neighborhood. Are you going to open your front door at 3 a.m. and just leave it open?
Yeah.
It's kind of the
Nope.
same thing. It's a
Yeah.
doorway. And you don't know how safe that other side is, but you're just going to open that door and kind of allow anything to come in.
Yeah, just let
Mm-hmm.
anybody come in.
That's what
Yeah.
that is to me.
Mhm. So, did we ever answer the question about how whether it's your imagination or not?
Do we ever stay on topic? That's what I want to
No,
know.
we don't. We go off on such tangents.
I know. Hello, ADD.
It's all
I
good.
I think imagination took me forever to realize that that was part of what we do. I remember when we were in classes together, Susan, that I would ask, it feels like my imagination, and the answer I would get was, uh-huh. That's all they would do is say, yep, it feels like your imagination. And I'm like, well, how do I know if it's, I want it to be a more intense feeling so I know that that's this and imagination is this. And they're like, imagination.
That's like with channeling too, because when I, try to when I practice channeling and something starts to come through, I immediately go to that place where it's like, yeah, is that my, am I just making this shit up, or
Self-edit.
is it really, that's the whole get out of your own way kind of thing. You gotta shut it down and just let it happen.
I
Yeah,
literally had to
that's
think of it
moving
as
out of the
suspending my
way.
belief. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I literally had to suspend my disbelief. In order to not self-edit immediately, I had to say, whatever happens, just pretend. Just go ahead. Pretend with it. Is it your imagination? Fine, it's your imagination. Don't question it. Just do.
And check in again with your body.
Yeah.
See how your body feels. See how that feels to you emotionally. If you're really honest with yourself, and does it feel like you're making it up? Does it feel authentic to you? And most people can answer that question. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't feel like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. But
One time,
everything's imagination. Everything comes from imagination
Exactly.
also.
one
So,
time I was in a mediumship class. I was actually helping the lady who was putting it on. But I was part of the class too. But that's how she kind of paid me to do it, And there was a photograph that somebody had brought that they were passing around, and about a murder that had happened in Florida, and they were looking for information on it, on this murder, because they had never captured the person who, they've never even found the body, I don't think, of the girl that supposedly disappeared and, possibly murdered. And I took this photograph and I'm holding it and I'm looking at it, and I didn't even like concentrate on anything. I didn't even like put myself in a mindset or anything. And all of a sudden I was in the house seeing the murder happen, listening to the man screaming at the girl, and the girl being absolutely terrified, and then him killing her. I saw this in my head and I'm going, I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up, because that wasn't what I expected. That was very surprising to me. And everybody else is kind of talking amongst themselves or whatever, and I'm holding this photograph and I just started blurting out, oh my God, he's, I see the guy, I see her, I'm there. I tell them, what room they're in this house, the whole thing. And I'm like shaking, like I was just like, woo. It was weird.
God, that's intense.
yeah, there was someone that came to me, and her sister had been murdered. And it was like everything, it played like a movie. Everything
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like a
came,
movie, like watching a
I
movie.
could
get
see
that.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
That she had left her boyfriend, had started dating someone else. She was pregnant, and that it was her first boyfriend. It was boyfriend number one who was on, I said he was doing a psychedelic, and she said he was doing acid. And so he was tripping on acid. He had found out that she was pregnant,
Mm.
and he was, one of these controlling types. And if I can't have you, nobody will.
Mm-hmm.
And he murdered her and left her on the side of the road, and had, now this is very graphic, had sex with her after she had died.
Yes.
Right.
And this woman was wondering if it was the boyfriend number one or if it was boyfriend number two. And I clearly saw that boyfriend number two was in his home sleeping
Mm.
when this happened. And it was just so, it was just laid out all in front of me. And she was saying that they didn't know, they didn't arrest boyfriend number one because they didn't have enough proof. And she was
Mm.
wondering if it was boyfriend number one or number two. And it was definitely the first one.
Number one.
And not long after that, she unalived herself
Oh,
to be
Oh
with her
my God.
sister.
wow.
I mean, there's only so much you can do.
I know.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've all had readings like this where it's just incredibly difficult situation.
Mm-hmm. Let's get on a
Let's
more
change the
cheery.
subject.
I was just gonna say that.
But that's
Let's-
that's the reality of what we do.
It is.
Sometimes it's like, this is a great connection. Thank you so much for connecting me to my loved one. I'm so happy. And
Yes.
sometimes it's just like,
Yes. And when you're able to answer a question for someone in relation to their parent maybe passing away, and you're able to clarify some questions that they had in their mind about what happened, and when you can clear that up, and they're left feeling or knowing that it wasn't about them, it was about the parent.
yes,
Yeah.
And that can be so healing for
it
someone.
can. Absolutely.
Readings, more times than not, bring healing
Mm-hmm.
and a greater
Absolutely.
understanding of the person receiving the reading, as well as about a family situation or any kind of situation, or their place in the world. Or I love it when past life information comes through.
Oh yeah.
I love it when I just had a reading with someone not too long ago. 3 past lives came through.
Ooh.
And that's something else. That's another discussion too. But that's something else that people, they don't get the information that they don't need. So for this woman, it was important for her to see these 3 different lives and how it's come together.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If this episode resonated with you, please follow, turn on notifications, and share it on your favorite social platforms. And tag us so we can grow this community together. We love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you next time.